So if I can only pick 3 rulers to make my quilts, it will be number 1, the 6.5 by 24.5 inches, the 12.5 inch square, and then my Stripology ruler. This is Stripology large, so you just have the strips. But if you want to go all the way out, the Stripology extra large, it's a little bit longer, and you can trim your squares with this one, or you can make your own pre-cuts, and it will go from 4.5 to 12.5 inch squares. They also have the even numbers with the black. So the black one, these are your even numbers of to trim. But maybe if I go back to the large one. So why I use the ruler a lot is to cut my strips. So you can see on the squares, they're every 2.5 inches. So you just go from square to square to square. It's 2.5 inches. The little stars are like 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. So this is a great ruler for cutting bindings, cut your stash up when you make string quilts, also for squares, like you can cut the strips, you turn the ruler and you cut your squares. So I just want to show, this is a quilt I quilted for one of my customers, Donna, and it's a Christmas log cabin quilt. So the Stripology ruler is perfect to cut up all these 2.5 inch strips. I'll just take this quilt off. And next, so like I said, on 2.5 inch strips, so this is a basket case pattern with the Beautiful Day jelly roll. And there's actually, I'm busy working on the top one. So these I trimmed to 10.5, and then you can put your little sticker on and you cut 10.5 inches. So these are some of my blocks that still have to go into a quilt. Then this quilt was made by Venus and one of my friends, and we had the same pattern in mind. Where's basket weave? We have exactly the same pattern in mind with the same fabric. The only difference is she already finished hers, and next I'm going to quilt, Venus quilt. But then too, if you want to use the same pattern, use your stash, you can use that Stripology ruler to cut your own stash up. Like I said, back to my favorite 2 rulers, like 12.5 inches unfinished, 6.5 inch finish. So these back are like strips cut from my stash, and the 12.5 inch ruler, so I can trim them even to all 12.5 inches. And this is my lefty ruler, so I can see my numbers. 12. So most blocks, or most books, if I take these papers out of the way. So most books, they have patterns for 12.5 inches and 6.5 inches. This is just one of Lori Halt's books, and I'll show you. I just kind of put the instructions out so I don't get in trouble. But most blocks are like 6.5 inches or 12.5 inches. So that's why my favorite rulers to start with are 12.5 inches and 6.5 inches. So with that 6.5 by 12 inches, so this is 6.5 to by 12.5 inches. So for instance, this is a cut loose pattern, $3.50 pattern. So when you subcut these units, well, they do have the seam allowance into, but this you cut, these are 6.5 inch, a 6.5 inch block. I do like the 6.5 inch square ruler. If you don't have the 6.5, you can use like washi tape. And then back to this one again. Maybe I'll see if where's my 6.5? I don't have my 6.5 inch trim ruler, but I do have a 6.5 trim ruler too. So even this on kitty corn, it's back to 2.5 inches, and these are 6.5 inches. So just my seam align, so 6.5 inch unfinished and 6 inches. So like my go-to rulers are these. Please let me know what's your favorite rulers for quilting, and I hope you all have a great day, and it's Valentine's, so hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Thank you. Bye.